Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the NGS Podcast. This is Mr. Yahya, and today I'm joined with Sister Iman Sugetan, who is the co-founder and CEO of Co Chocolat, finely, truly healthy chocolates. She is also the founder of 15-year-old ihsan Premium Hotel Supplies, an award-winning company catering to luxury hotels in the Middle East. She embraced Islam almost 20 years ago and has been an expat of 21 years in Dubai. She is mom to 5-year-old named Khadija. Her mother, who survived a stroke and has dementia, lives with her together with her sister, who is the other co-founder of Co Chocolat. As with most Filipinos, it's dangerous to give her the mic when it's karaoke time. So we're not going to ask you to do any singing today, Ms. Iman, but welcome to the NGS Podcast.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Hello to everyone who's listening. Happy to be here in NGS.
Alhamdulillah. So we've just finished a NGS coffee morning.
Yeah.
And you were able to share your very inspiring story with parents, with some of our high school students, as well as a global audience online. And there was really a lot of wonderful feedback about the level of ihsan that you've put into this company, Co Chocolat, and your whole journey, mashallah. So for our listeners that weren't able to join us live today, perhaps you can share just a bit about the story of Co Chocolat, your faith journey that combined into that, the story of your mother, and of course your love for chocolate and the pursuit, which I didn't know was possible, of truly healthy chocolates.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know you're a skeptic before I started the webinar.
Yes.
So I started the healthy chocolate journey with my sister when in 2016, we started talking about why is it that there's no healthy chocolates around. A lot of delicious chocolates, but no healthy versions. And even if there were, the healthy versions were, they're not delicious. So we thought there is a gap in the market, and who better to do this than two sisters who love chocolates and has a diabetic mother. And by the way, aside from a stroke, she's also survived 2 heart attacks. And so I live with the effects of poor eating habits. She used to drink a lot of cola in our catering business. And because none in our family had diabetes, imagine. But because of the lifestyle, this, qadarullah, she had diabetes and the cardiovascular diseases. So we said, why not, change things, offer healthy but delicious chocolates. And we went to the Philippines, went back to the Philippines and discovered the story of cacao. And we didn't even know it grew on trees. Can you believe how ignorant we were? Just eating chocolates and not even knowing where it came from. And we learned how to plant. And it was there in our journey that we met an NGO representative who was learning how to farm cacao so he can teach farmers so that they earn 1,500 pesos. This is 100 dirhams. 100 dirhams as a goal for a family to earn. And with that news, with that knowledge, we said, you know what? Why don't we change our strategy, our plan? Why don't we create something that will help these farmers? Because that time they kept calling us after the training. They were saying, "Ma'am, you're from Dubai. How can you help us?" And when people ask you for help and there's a way for you to help, why not? And that's when we started studying, okay, what's an agri-social enterprise? What would be the difference between a cooperative? And after that, we started, telling our friends, asking our friends, why don't you join us in this chocolatey journey and become our partners? And that's how OFW para sa magsasaka, which means overseas Filipino workers for Filipino farmers, supporting Filipino farmers. That's what it means, was born. And 3 years later, we are selling the cacao, which comes from that very agri-social enterprise. And now these chocolates can be found in Burj Al Arab, in Ritz-Carlton, Al Wadi. It can be found in Fairmont Palm. Very soon, we will be launching our partnership with Hilton Middle East and Africa. And we are, inshallah, going to open two new shops one in Abu Dhabi and one in Dubai, in Merdif City Center. And we've launched our franchise system, our franchise program. So inshallah, we'll be growing beyond the UAE. And alhamdulillah, it's not an easy journey, but it has been fun and it has been delicious.
Yes, mashallah. A couple of the things that people noted after seeing the slide deck, one thing was the level of ihsan that you've done, the excellence, everything from the design, the logo, to the phrasing, the packaging. You've really thought about every little detail with ihsan, with excellence. And that's something that's really attracted people. So can you talk a bit about that perhaps, that aspect of how you bring in these Islamic design principles to your work?
Earlier, we were just talking about modeling, right?
Yes.
And one of the things which for me personally, wherever I go, whatever I do, I always think that I represent something. I represent where I came from. I represent my being a Filipino. And when I became a Muslim, it gave me a higher sense of purpose that I model. I represent being a Muslim. And I've noticed the name of my company, the hotel supplies company, it's called ihsan, which means job well done. It means congratulations in Arabic. Why? Because I like ensuring that things are as perfect as possible. Of course, there's no way you can reach perfection, but at least you have to try. And because I have a medical background, I used to be a physical therapist. I'm used to doing things. I'm used to studying. I'm used to researching, and this attention to detail has helped me very much as an entrepreneur. So going back to this ihsan, to wanting to make things very good, nobody likes to fail, and especially me. I saw how it is, how competitive it is in the chocolate market, and if you are going to, normally when people say healthy or ethical or farm to table, normally they think of brown and like cardboard and like just like, okay, it needs to be like natural. But I was thinking, no, chocolates is always associated with indulgence, with gifting. It's a delight. So why not give that experience to the customers? And my background supplying to hotels has really has trained me to look at things with a very critical eye. When I started with Accent before, the hotel supplies, I used to get a lot of criticisms from my customers, but I loved being criticized. Why? Because it makes me become better and better and better. And this is why people work with Accent now. We are a little bit more expensive than the others, but they know, no, these are the best people in the hotel supplies industry. Now, going back to Co Chocolat, when we did the design, when we did the packaging, I was thinking, I want the experience to be, you feel luxuriated. You're given a Co Chocolat gift. Oh my God. From the packaging, from the paper bag, and when you unbox it, and we are talking about like 6 years ago, unboxing wasn't like a big thing yet, but we were thinking of, let's make theatrics of opening a box. It wasn't called unboxing at that time, but let's make a theatricality of it. Just by opening it, it was already pure luxury. And that's how it's always been. And I think that's how we want to move forward with Co Chocolat. We are developing another brand, which is more, how do I say it? It's not for gifting, more like mainstream. You can grab it in grocery shops, but they'll be coming maybe inshallah by next year. We'll go full force in that. That's more minimalist, but that's going to be another baby.
Okay,
on the
inshallah. Well, I like even that, what you shared there, because we were talking about this, of just slowing down, Sometimes when we think of chocolate, it's just gobble, 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 right? But actually slowing down the actual opening of it, appreciating the beauty of the design, how it's made, knowing the ingredients, really reflecting on all the farmers that you've worked with, right? So knowing that story gives that level of appreciation and then therefore gratitude for what we're eating.
Absolutely. I'm one of those people, before we set up the chocolate business, give me chocolates and I can, like a sandwich, I can consume that in 1 minute, even if it's like 100 grams or 150 grams. But as you become wiser and you look at health, look at wellness, there's a lot of advantage and benefit to slowing down. Just appreciating what you are eating And even just like letting it melt in your mouth, and then just really appreciating the fine flavors, because they're fine flavor chocolates. So, and you might ask, what's the difference? Aren't all chocolates fine flavors? No. The chocolates from cacao that comes from all over the world, brought to one factory in one country, and it's normally the big names in the chocolate industry. They'd get cacao from everywhere, and it doesn't matter if it's like not too good quality, bad quality. What they do, like coffee, they would roast everything, over roast it. And this is why there's an impression that if it's dark chocolate, it's bitter. But in reality, like specialty coffee, when a chocolate, a bar of chocolate or a piece of chocolate is single origin, it represents the terroir, where it came from, the way it was fermented. So it has those complex flavors, like sometimes fruity, sometimes lemony, sometimes like coffee-ish in flavor. So there are those which you can appreciate only if you slow down and if you buy the fine flavor chocolates, which are normally single origin, like ours.
Wonderful. Well, that's a fascinating kind of overview of how this all works. MashaAllah. So I want to talk about another aspect of this entrepreneurship work that you're doing, because this is also, I think, very important for us to reflect on as a Muslim community, as we're trying to encourage our young women to think about how they want to contribute to making a better world. And one key part of the discussion is how to balance the family and the business, right? You're a mother, you have a daughter, and yet you're involved in this entrepreneurship work. So could you talk a bit about that journey and how you are able to keep the balance?
I'm lucky, I'm blessed that when I launched my first business, I was single. I didn't have, I was single, which means I could work 12 to 14 hours a day, and nobody would mind. But it's a different story if you're starting a family, if you have kids. Why? Because, and I'll go back to what we were discussing earlier, yes, it is good to have an enterprise. It's good to be in the workplace. However, set your priorities. Like for me now, I have Khadija. I cannot work as much as I was working before. And I'm not saying it as a complaint. No, I'm saying it because this is now my priority. I'm prioritizing now this human whose future depends on how I will raise her. And I'm divorced, and it's a bigger responsibility because I'm alone in raising her. You know, it's not like a normal family. But for women, you have, if you're going to start an enterprise, you have to balance it or look at the timings in your personal life. Because if you're going to start a business and you wanted to raise funds, you raise capital, you want it to build it's an excellent one, it will take a lot of time. And so ask your husband, if you're married, okay, are you on board on this? And sometimes not even just ask, but from the personality of your husband or even your family, will this something that will create conflict? Because if it will, then think very well. And they have to be on board. Why? Because we don't live in an island, especially for us Muslims. We live as a collective. We are not doing things just for, maybe if I were not a Muslim, I'd just say, no, I want to do it because I want to be famous, because I want to achieve something. No, I have the akhirah to think about. Life doesn't end when I'm dead. The start is after I'm dead. So everything that I'm doing now, yes, I want to raise funds, I want to grow the business, but always in my mind, what if I die tomorrow? This is what I'm thinking. What will Khadija have? How much of the Quran have I? How much of surah has she memorized? How much have I taught her? Because in the end, and by the way, for the women out there, and even the women who are not married, single, still looking, divorced, when a year before I got married, and I got married a very Islamic way. It was a Islamic introduction, and then we got married after 3 days. But the year before that, because I do the nafil itikaf, and I was praying to Allah to give me a daughter, because I read that parents whose children grow to be righteous will get a nice, shiny coat in Jannah. And I was just thinking, I want to have that shiny coat in Jannah. I love fashion. And I'm like, I know it sounds like petty, but of course I want to be in Jannah with that. And I was to think, okay, so if I want to have that, then I must have a child which I should raise righteously. And I should have a husband. And so for me, even now, even if I'm divorced and even with raising a child alone, and alhamdulillah, I'm friends with my husband still. But like I said, life doesn't end with the applause of people. Yes, we have won a lot of pitch deck competitions. People praise you and all that. But at the end of the day, is Allah pleased with you? And this is so important because, and one of the questions that was asked by the sister is, how do you keep the barakah? And for me, it is just to keep things halal. And I'm not saying I'm always perfect, and not even just halal, like tayyib. For me, having a business which does not promote diabetes and other, it's because you can have a business which is just like, okay, it's not harmful, so it's okay, it's halal. But why not go the next level? How about tayyib? How about something which will affect the earth? It will affect humanity. And then if you're a woman who's a Muslim and you're wearing the hijab and people see that and you're beautiful in your hijab and you're intelligent and you're confident, you are like a walking, believe me, you are like a walking da'wah whose people are going to say, what is this? Like, what is she? How can she do all these things? She's great. And inshallah, that's another like investment for the akhirah.
Beautiful, mashallah. So you mentioned barakah. We're going to get to the barakah cards here in a moment.
Yes, I can see that.
Before we do that though, I'm just wondering if you would like to share any advice that comes to mind for maybe the younger listeners that are listening, for the mothers that are out there, for the ladies that are out there, if they want to go into this line of business or enterprise or entrepreneurship. What other advice might you give them based on now you've started 2 and maybe a 3rd company coming? You've had quite a bit of experience of learning. What would you like to share for those that are maybe just starting on the journey?
I think, like I said, if your family is on board, your husband is on board, you have a great idea, the next thing to do is just make sure that you plan well and you research well. I believe the reasons for the success of Co Chocolat is because before we launched the brand, I did a thorough research in the market. We are talking about 2017. The forecast in 2017 was by 2030, and this is before the pandemic, people would be going towards health, wellness, and conscious, like ethical brands. People want to be invested in brands which resonate with their values. So, and for us, we were thinking, okay, so this is the trend of the future. So if I had just said, let's just make it flashy, it would be harder to compete in the market. So like I said, so do your research well, have your family on board, and find people you work with who share the same values. One of the lessons I have learned really when it comes to hiring people, hire people with the same values. And it helps, and hire as many Muslims as you can. Why? Because they will remind you that you are a Muslim and that you stand, there are things which we Muslims should be doing, because sometimes we can be too busy trying to chase the sale or trying to meet targets, and you might forget things. And it's good to surround yourself with people who remind you of that. And at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is not the only best thing in the world. If you choose to be, you want to stay at home, you don't want to, you choose not to work, still, this is fine. Do not be pressured by, other women, they have this, they're doing this. No, relax, just do your thing. For me, this is what I'm doing. Allah has given me this, so I'm doing the best that I can. And entrepreneurship doesn't always mean having to run like a business with 20, 30, 50 people. It could just be yourself doing things at your own pace. And this is perfectly fine. Yeah.
Inshallah, mashallah. May Allah continue to facilitate your efforts and grant you tawfiq in this life and the next, inshallah. So there's a couple of things we'll kind of close out with here that are fun. So NGS, Next Generation School, is an inquiry-based school. So we have inquiry learning, and a big part of inquiry is asking questions and answering questions and interesting questions. So here I have our question key jar. There's a bunch of random questions here.
I really feel like I'm in a beauty pageant.
And so we're going to pick one out here. Yes, I will do one too, because I always, whatever I ask someone else to do. Yes, there you go. Okay. So pick one out there. I'll do one too. And then we just answer it. That's all there is to it.
I hope my stint with the Toastmasters Club kick off today.
Inshallah.
So shall I read it?
Yes, read it and answer.
What are you most afraid of? What are you most afraid of? Aside from nar, aside from hell.
Yes.
When I'm putting to bed my daughter, I'm afraid that I'm not always there to take care of her.
My question is, what is the best thing that's ever happened to you?
The best thing?
This is for me now. My question.
The best thing that has ever happened to me?
Yes. So you want to answer everyone? I'll answer this one too.
Okay.
For me, of course, it was coming to Islam. This was coming to Islam because that then opened up so many other blessings, right? Allah guiding me on a very long and winding journey, but eventually to embracing Islam. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
How about for you?
So I can't answer that anymore. You beat me to it already. I think the best thing is, and it's not just one thing, but every day when I see my daughter and I see her smile and growing up, and mashallah tabarakallah, she's smart, and I'm like, how did this ever happen? How was I ever able to produce something like this? And it makes my heart really glow. And looking at all the possibilities of what she will become in the future. And I think, just seeing her grow healthy and so cheeky and so naughty just gives me immense pleasure. Maybe one of the best things that has happened.
Alhamdulillah. And may she and all of our children be amongst the righteous, amongst the doers of good, amongst the muhsinun. And amongst those who guide others to the path of Islam as we were guided, by people in our lives and ultimately by Allah. Alhamdulillah. So we'll close here with the barakah cards, and NGS this year is really trying to adopt a barakah culture. Last year we had Brother Muhammad Fardis in to launch his book, The Barakah Effect. So I've been using these cards and have found them very helpful for reflection and just personal growth. So we're going to draw one from each just randomly here. So the first one's going to be rituals. You're just going to pick one out and don't look at it yet. Just set it down next to you there. Okay, so that's going to be your ritual.
I chose a purple one.
Yes, very good. Then you're going to choose a value. So a barakah value. So choose one of those.
Okay, here you go.
And then we're going to choose a barakah mindset.
Mindset, a light blue one. Okay, I'm going to
choose over here. All right. So open those each up and read them one at a time. Okay.
Okay, from barakah rituals, waking up early. To seize the barakah in the early hours by starting the day early. This is so fitting. Because I need this. From barakah values, mercy and compassion. To be merciful and compassionate towards yourself and others. Ar-Rahmah. And barakah mindsets, steadfastness upon the truth. To not fear the truth and its outcomes. To stand firm for the values you believe in.
Al-Haq.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. So those are some reminders here for you and for all of us.
For all of us.
So waking up early, the barakah of the morning, a very blessed time, having mercy and compassion for others and for ourselves.
Absolutely.
So important.
Absolutely.
And then steadfastness, istikama, upon the truth, the haqq, always in pursuit of the haqq. And then inshallah, Allah will make the path easy for us when we're in pursuit of the truth.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan for this opportunity to be heard and share a little bit of my story with you.
Well, Jazak, we hope to have you back again, and we will, inshallah, have a special discount, I hear, for NGS from Co Chocolat.
Sending a discount voucher for the Next Generation School community. Yeah.
And the other thing we can announce here, hopefully this podcast will come out before it happens, but we're planning to have a poetry in the chocolate factory afternoon and evening. at the Co Chocolat factory. I will be hosting a poetry night there.
Yes.
And inshallah, we'll have a tour and a chance to make chocolate.
We said October 16, right?
Yes, I believe that is the date, October 16th.
Or
We better confirm that. Is it?
yeah. Okay.
Is it a Saturday or Sunday?
It is a Sunday.
Sunday.
We need to check on the date.
We'll confirm it and
Because
put
October,
it in there.
we will confirm it
Inshallah.
this October.
Inshallah. So looking forward to that and looking forward to all of the wonderful things that Allah has planned, inshallah, in the future.
Inshallah. Looking forward to welcoming everyone in the chocolate factory
Inshallah.
and having you do our workshop and bring home your own chocolates which you make.
Beautiful. Yeah. Wonderful. So thank you very much. I'll just close with the dua of the majlis. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.